talking about sketching, talking about retro, and I hope that this is the right bag.
Yeah.
This is the one that gets me, quite emotional about this one, and it has not been out of its bag since last year.
Well, as long as you open it from this side, there's no one.
As you know, I have been
Yes.
furiously building, making, and getting some RC work done because that is my happy place.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the happy places.
I'm getting ready for Vintage Bash 5.0, like many people are. I'm getting ready to come out of winter, getting ready to hit the track. I've got about 4 cars. I've got the RO2 that's done. Can put a tick next to that. That's track ready. I've got an MO3, which is partially done, awaiting electronics, which I'll get to in a second. I've got the Works YZ91, which is just, I think I spoke about it last week, was copying the full Berserk treatment. We'll touch on that in a second. And my other one of my other race cars.
This is the one that gets you all worked up.
This is the one that gets me, quite emotional about this one, and it has not been out of its bag since last year. Since last Vintage Bash was the last time that it got used. Got used at Wodonga for like 1 battery. Yep. And then it got used at Knox for 3 or 4 batteries for VB4. So this is straight from the track at VB4. This is my XX Losi from 1995. Now, you guys have probably all heard me talk about this before. This chassis was actually the very same one that I raced, and it was gifted back to me as a present from Louis Solar. He'd managed to come across it in his state of collections and XX bits and pieces. So he had gifted back to me.
Explain why this chassis is different.
Because it's extra long. It's actually the stadium truck chassis. There was a race meeting, I think it was the 1995 state titles, and I only had 1 vehicle, which happened to be a truck. I didn't have a buggy at the time. And stadium truck used to race on 4-wheel drive day, which was on the Saturday, and Sunday was 2-wheel drive day. So what I did, Louis helped me with, was go through his spare parts on Saturday after trucks, I think, which I did really well. It was in the A main anyway. Then we cobbled together a buggy using the truck chassis, which is the centerpiece here, and we put buggy arms, buggy shock towers, and buggy shocks on with the truck transmission. And that was actually a great realization that the truck and the buggy transmissions had different internal gear ratios because of the different size wheels. So do you know what the buggy transmission ratio was back then? 2.19.
Okay.
Do you know what the truck transmission ratio was back then?
Hopefully you'll tell me.
2.61.
Okay. That's quite a difference.
It was. And do you know what the current transmission ratio is on your buggy? 2.6. So that was because we found that it spun really well. It had a bigger idler gear and was a better unit. For buggy racing.
It spin up really quick.
Yeah, spun up really quick. So we worked out back then that the truck gearbox was actually really good in buggies. We found it out by mistake. I had to go up about 3 pinions, I think, to get the same sort of rollout.
Overall rollout, yeah.
But it worked out really, really good because back then, like an 11 double, for example, you'd be using like a 13 pinion and a 90 spur. A crazy gear ratio, right, to try and make the gearing work in your runtime. With the truck transmission, you could gear up 3 pinions and you'd have more surface area, you'd have better rolling resistance, and it would spin up much nicer. So I found out by mistake, actually, that it worked and worked really good. And I also liked the longer wheelbase because the truck chassis had a longer wheelbase. So that worked out really well for me. Anyway, quite a successful buggy, and the buggy became aptly named the Malibu because it was quite unique. I had to have a different body and stuff because the standard body didn't fit because the overall length of the chassis is probably about 30 mil longer.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And you'll notice here, I've actually re-drilled it and put a sticker over it, which you can't see, of course, because I've put a sticker over it. Yeah. Very, very me. But yeah, the standard holes here, and my one with this chassis is up here. I've put a sticker over it and reinforced it. Actually need some more reinforcing this poor little body. The XX has always suffered up here, and this one's no different. It's starting to crack. Given the fact that it is an original OEM body, I'm not surprised. But yeah, and the bodies, it was not mine, and that wasn't a race theme. This is actually from my good friend Rudy. So Louis donated me the chassis and a car that was ready to hit the track, and my good friend Rudy gave me pretty much a whole complete double X, which was the same series and vintage exactly as I run. So I put the two sort of together and made my exact race car down to the turnbuckles, ball ends, everything. I digress though. Why I have it in my hot little hand and I'm talking about it once again in the studio is because Team Cayote, the finest manufacturer in competition electronics.
You don't think you're slightly biased?
Well, I sort of have to be in this build because
Yeah,
they have collaborated. I won't say gifted, but they have collaborated with us, Hearns Hobbies, Team Coyote Australia, and we are putting together an electronics package fitting of a world champion. And by world champion, I mean...
Not you.
It doesn't have a $400 speed controller in it, no. It doesn't have a fancy speed controller. In fact, quite the opposite. I actually
That's
asked,
an RS.
This, my friends, is an RS60. This is the entry-level speed controller in the Crest X range. Crest X meaning 10th scale. Well, they don't even call it Crest X. They just call it Crest.
Is that a Coyote blue tack?
That is, this is Belong to it's my third hand blue tack.
Yeah.
If you've seen our social media, I was actually taking some photos earlier while I was working in the early hours in the morning. Yes, so that is this is the entry level one. This is a 60 amp speed controller. It doesn't come I've got one of these in the RS 2.0. I'm that impressed with it. I said, please, don't you want a 120 or something? I said, no, this is for 21.5 vintage. It does not need to be anything fancy. It needs to be good.
Yeah.
But doesn't need to have fan. And it's not going to do a ton of work, let's be honest.
And these do not break the bank.
They do not break the bank. They don't get hot. That's why the 21.5, but we have a gentleman's agreement in vintage, I think 6:1 is like the gear ratio. So it's not working hard, it's not stressing anything. So that is fine. Now what I have done is paired it with some beautiful wire. It was actually sourced by our very own Tony Gray, all the way from the land of the septic tanks.
Yeah, not easy to find.
Commonly referred to as America. And this is very similar to the wire that are run back in the 90s. In fact, I'd probably say exactly the same. Yeah. So yes, I've wired it up and I've tried to hide the third phase, well, the B phase, I suppose. You can see that it's in black, it's underneath, but when it's together like that, it actually looks like a DC motor.
Yeah.
Looks like two wires and the sensor wire. It's pretty hard these days to actually, if you're using a 250 or 300 mil sensor cable, it's because it's a vintage rear motor buggy. Usually the speed controllers are a lot closer now, mid-motor buggers. So
you can use the Orca sensor wires because they're clear.
Yeah, they're clear. That's right. So they will look good too. And I've got the battery in here. So I'm looking forward. This is for the double X build. So that is the Crest X. Big thank you to Team Coyote. And a huge thank you to Losi for making such an awesome buggy. So there you go. None of these parts are available new, of course, i.e. the buggy parts. But yeah, the stocky 21.5 sitting in there. Looking forward to getting it soldered up, getting it running, and having some fun.
Yay, we like fun.
We like fun and we like doing stuff.